On today's Locked On Bama, we asked the question, does the SEC really need the rest of the country? We'll see. Jimmy and I will talk about it. Y'all hang in there and listen to us today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, too. We appreciate that. Here we go with Locked On Bama.
Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy.
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can now, but it is like I'm watching an old Godzilla movie because your mouth is moving after I hear your voice.
A little scary in the sense that are you warning me that a 80-foot tall lizard is about to Godzilla stomp all over my little town here?
Either that or there's been a DJ Fluker sighting because he's big. He is big down there in the Mobile area. Jimmy, let's go ahead and knock this out. Jimbo Fisher continues to talk for absolutely no reason. You know, on Twitter, the thing is now where it goes nobody, absolutely nobody ever. And then it's like somebody does something. It's like nobody asked, nobody wanted anymore. Jimbo Fisher went on some news station and in true Jimbo Fisher fashion, sounding just like a guy who's guilty of literally everything. He speed talks his way through an interview. And then when the interviewer's like, oh, because Jimbo said something like, hey, I did some digging around. Only one of our enrolling guys has an NIL deal. Only one. I checked it out. And the guy goes, oh, that's wild. Well, why do you think everybody's saying otherwise? Because they're all lying. Everybody's lying. Everybody's lying but me. Everybody's lying. I can't. Are you lying? Do you know how to lie? Do you do research? Do you do research at all? And I was thinking, let the man ask you a question. Because my question would be, okay, well, how many NIL deals do your freshmen that haven't enrolled have? That's a good question. That's not a bad question. And and I guess he was scared Jimbo Fisher it would light a M80 up his butt and he'd just go firing out of the room. But look, Jimbo is quickly becoming one of the most hated coaches in college football, if you ask me.
I'm not sure he's doing himself a lot of favors. He was a jerk to that reporter. I mean, a jerk. That reporter didn't spark or say anything too wrong, and Jimbo just sort of tore into him. And this is a San Antonio local news guy. It's not ESPN or someone from Birmingham. I mean, this was local, and then Jimbo lights him up with the friendly fire. Hey, look, this is what I think is going to happen. And, I've been right on Jimbo before. I don't know if I'll be right this time. This is pure speculation. I'm not telling y'all facts, but this is what I believe is going to happen. Is that down the road at some point, maybe SEC media days, when he's really confronted with this by unfriendly media, I think it's going to come out, or my guess is it will come out that what Jimbo has been saying is a partial truth and potentially the biggest bald-faced lie ever, which is the collective, Texas A&M's collective, the collective that works with A&M, has paid all of these guys probably large sums. And when confronted with this, Jimbo's going to say, I didn't lie about a thing. I said we. I said Texas A&M. I said me. We didn't pay anything. I don't know what the collective is doing. That's not us. That's somebody else. I don't know. We're not even allowed to know what they're doing. Well, I'll just say this. If it plays out that way, and there's no way for me to know that, but if it plays out that way, that is the most, I mean, I'm telling you that it is pure negligence for a head coach not to know what's going on with the collective that's serving his school's interests. It's negligent because is that Jimbo? They're making all our players ineligible. I don't care. I don't know. That's not my business. You don't think it's his business to know that his kids could be ineligible or might be ineligible if the collective isn't following the rules as they're supposed to follow it. You don't think Jimbo cares what the collective is paying his players? Now, that's just speculating if he's going to use that sort of double talk to get out of this later by saying, no, I was saying Jimbo Fisher paid nobody. I was saying Texas A&M paid nobody. I didn't say anything about this collective. I don't know anything about them, which he's already said, by the way. He's already said.
And Jimmy, here's what's funny. So if he doesn't know what's going on with the collective and he doesn't know that what the collective does or where they are or who even to call, he can't even call them collect. Let's say, does he think that he just, man, I've never signed more than 1 5-star in my career, and I must be doing something right. It reminded me of this and this, I'm 12. When I was young, and I grew up in Alex City on Lake Martin, and we were like last to get everything. I mean, last to get cable. I mean, they just didn't run cable down to the lake for the longest time. And I'll never forget, one day I went down to my television downstairs and started flipping the channels, still this dial television, started flipping the channels, and I was getting all these channels, and the 2 cable guys were still there. And I just thought they were TV repair guys. I didn't know what the hell they were. And I went up to them, I said, man, I don't know what you 2 guys did, but in the last 5 minutes, I've been getting like every channel I could possibly get on my dial. They were like, yeah, we're with the cable company and we installed cable. I mean, what I'm saying is it reminded me of, hey, something, you guys must be magic and I must be the luckiest bastard ever because I just started changing channels and now I'm getting everything. And when really the answer is, you're not just lucky in signing a bunch of 5-stars this year. The collective has helped you. And again, what's the big, you can say what's the big deal. I guess the NCAA is saying, yeah, it could be a big deal potentially. And maybe it is. But I guess the way he understands the rules, it's not a big deal. So why not own up to it? But we've been down that road so much, Jimmy. I want to go ahead and tell everybody about Bet Online. Bet Online is where you want to go because that's where the game starts. I've told you this 100 times. I don't even know why I need to tell you anymore. Our partners at Bet Online know that they're the #1 source for all of your sports wagering information and needs. I mean, you can get whatever you want at Bet Online. I'm telling you, it's the best betting website on this planet. There might be another betting website on another planet that's just as good. I don't know. What?
Could be.
Could be. We don't know that there's not.
Yeah, we don't know that A&M's collectives paid anybody anything at all. We don't know.
But go to Bet Online. They've got everything. You can bet on Major League Baseball. You can bet on college football futures, NFL futures, whatever. At Bet Online, at the NBA playoffs, it's hot and heavy right now. Go to Bet Online. That's where the game starts. Jimmy, let's talk about basketball here for a minute. Dominic Welch, a transfer from St. Bonaventure, has signed with the Crimson Tide. This is a good shooter. Seems like a Nate Oates kind of player. I do want to speak truthfully on this. It doesn't seem like he was necessarily our first choice. Right. We went after some other dudes, didn't get them. That's the way the ball bounces sometimes in this transfer portal. And but it sounds like this guy's pretty doggone good. And so I'm happy with it. I think we need to put another player on the court. Now, we also need to play. Maybe we didn't. It'd be great if we could get a superstar that averaged 25 points a game in a Power 5 league. That'd be great. There are not a lot of dudes out there like that. And like you've said in the past, this roster is pretty talented. So this has to be a guy that understands, hey, I'm coming to help the team, not be the team.
That's right. Right or wrong, I think our roster is viewed as complete and good and pretty talented. And I think that's what hurt us with some of our high-profile targets. We tried to sign, the Bridges kid from West Virginia and Lucas from Oregon State. And there were others, some high-profile guys even. But a lot of players sort of looked at our roster and went, where am I going to find minutes there? And that's good news in the sense that the kids sort of view our roster as pretty talented. So, I like Welch a lot, actually. I think it can really help us. I think Welch is likely to play substantial minutes. I think he's going to share shooting guard spot with Namari Burnett. and whoever's playing shooting guard can also play some at the 3. He's long enough to do that. So I think he's a wing shooter, a 2 guard, and there will be minutes for him. Is he awesome? No. I mean, that's the thing about a portal guy like Welch. I mean, what's going to set me off a little bit is if I see somebody thinking this kid's an NBA player. Well, probably not. He's been eligible for the NBA draft for like 3 or 4 years. He just went through the NBA draft process and got out of it. That's not promising if you're thinking, oh, this kid's going to just explode at Alabama. Well, he's probably not. On the other hand, if you're poo-pooing it because he played at St. Bonaventure, I would tell you, oh, you mean the team that probably would have beat our ass down the stretch? I mean, we weren't as good as St. Bonaventure down the stretch. I mean, in March, when we were lost in the SEC tournament to Vanderbilt, we lost in the NCAAs. I don't know that we'd have beat St. Bonaventure. So I think this guy's coming from a good program. He's a fit with what we need, and he's going to help us. And that's what you need. You need help. We don't necessarily need a big star. And I think the toothpaste was out of the tube on that. I don't know if that was going to be available to us.
Yeah, I think you're right. We hit such a skid towards the end. You know what it just made me think about? Who is St. Bonaventure? I see St. Bonaventure, born Giovanni da Fidanza, was an Italian medieval Franciscan scholar, theologian, and philosopher, the 7th Minister General of the Orders of Friars Minor. He was also Cardinal Bishop of Albano.
And this is who St. Bonaventure is named after?
I guess, because I was thinking like, I was first going to be kind of a smart ass and say, you said we couldn't beat St. Bonaventure. I was going to say we couldn't beat Diablo Bonaventure. I mean, what's the opposite of St. Bonaventure? I couldn't think of what that is. So, and then I said, well, it makes me wonder who St. Bonaventure was. He was an actual person.
To stay cool and relevant, they're the St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
Yeah.
To stay cool and relevant, they should change their nickname to the Bronnies and be just named after LeBron's kid.
Oh, God. And yeah, NIL, baby.
Oh, yeah. He's got like 1 billion Instagram followers, and even his prom date was analyzed by thousands on Twitter and Instagram. I think, I would go with the St. Bonaventure Bronnies, and that would be cool. I'd sign up for that. I'd get the shirt. I'd get a jersey.
Well, it sort of goes along with my thinking of I can't wait to follow the Alabama Crimson Arch Mannings next year. Jimmy, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we want to talk about this SEC playoff idea. All right, so apparently there's this idea out there that the SEC could do like what, an 18 playoff and have their own championship.
That's right.
I just don't like. I mean, there's got to be some negotiating ploy about this. I just don't. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, right? And I'm never going to be I mean, I'm a traditionalist. All this stuff is scaring me. I mean, the NIL stuff, the portal, the new playoff, the expanded. It just
the internet.
Ultimately, what I'm concerned about, Luke, is a bunch of people that don't care about college football, that don't really know college football, are going to be the ones who decide everything. And, whether it's judges or the U.S. Congress or the president or just somebody that doesn't know and love college football. And we're going to have this new game and system foisted upon us that just doesn't make any sense. But about the SEC thing, I'm with you. I think this is some sort of a negotiating ploy. I think what the SEC would like to do is expand to a 12-team playoff, and it has about 4 or 5 automatic qualifiers and maybe 8 that are there by invite, based on best available teams.
Do you think the SEC wants auto qualifiers? I don't.
Yeah, I think they do, as long as it's a few. As long as it's just a few, as long as it's like 4 or 5 or 6, and there's still room for as many as 6 wild cards, I think they'd be all right with that. They damn sure don't want a playoff where it's just nothing but automatic qualifiers. That's not in the SEC's best interest, and frankly, it's stupid. But I got to be objective too. I think an SEC playoff is stupid. I don't want to play a full look. This is what really gets to me in all the sports, and now the college football will be joining it. I don't want to see a 12-game schedule that includes 9 SEC games, and all we've done at the end of all of that is come up with seeding for half the league to make the championship tournament. Yeah. All that does is cheapen those regular season games. And I'm like, you son of a bitches, why did you make me pay all that money to go to all those games and cheer my lungs out for what? For what? To determine who's the 3rd seed and who's the 5th seed? When half the league makes the playoff, you can go 7-5 and be in the playoff. I'll be so upset about that. And I'm upset about that in any sport, by the way. I hate when it's such a screw job to the fans when you cheapen the regular season and make it all about the postseason. Then why are you charging so much money for these regular season games? Why do you want us to care so much when really it doesn't matter, does it? So I would hate for college football, and particularly the SEC, to turn into that.
No, I agree. And Jimmy, we're going to go ahead and stop it right there, because what I'm afraid of there for a while, if we had continued on with the podcast, the way you were moving your own camera phone, you were moving it down further and further down your face, and we were going to wind up somewhere around your belly button if you had continued on that rant. Belly button, if you're lucky.
I was getting upset, and I'm still getting. I'm upset. I mean, I just read this, an hour and a half ago, and it's just now kind of sinking in about how, hey, when you make these threats, even if it's a bluff, you can find yourself backed in a corner, and then you're doing it, and I just think it's non-serious to me. And I don't want the SEC to play an 18 playoff and then crown the winner the national champion. It's cheap, it's sick, it's dumb.
Yeah, it's not right. And
the SEC champion.
We're all SEC homers here. That's not right. I mean, if we earn it in a way that Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, and Georgia all go to the national championship in this 14 playoff format, I can live with that. I could certainly live with that. But if we can only invite SEC teams, I'm not down for that. I'm just not. I mean, we got to put some Notre Dames and some USC. Well, I don't know about USC. Yeah, it'd be nice to put USC. Maybe USC will get there this year. That's something I want to talk about later, is like outlook for next year and our early predictions for next season in terms of other teams outside of Alabama. But we will talk about that in the next podcast. We also get to that question that one of our listeners threw out there about the assistants. Totally forgot to do that this time, but I will do it next time. I'm pretty sure. So, all right, until next time, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.